What I am pushing, though, is an understanding of us just being one race, not different races. That's bullshit in itself, because there is no such thing. There's one race, one freaking race, and that's it. And that's the human race. Okay? We don't need to be classified because of the pigment of our skin. Seriously? First of all, whoever came up with that idea was a jackass. I'm just saying, he just had to be. Oh, what else? You know what I'm saying? Like, what else would somebody like that be if they wasn't just a jack? Because all I see and hear when somebody says stuff like that is it's categorizing. Which leads me to the next thing. So, yes, this is a platform for us just to come together, to understand both sides, understand that there's bigger things in this world that are an issue. The little stuff, we can slowly work on that. But the big things, we need to address and not let go of. And maybe some of the little things we do let go of for right now. I'm not saying we should always just let it go, sweep it under the rug, because those are important things too. It's very important. But the biggest thing, that is the most important thing, is our freedoms and our rights. And those things are in jeopardy now. And whether you're a woman and you love women, or you are a men, or you think you're a mermaid and that's what you are. That stuff is cool, man. Do you. You do you. It's not my thing. And please don't force it upon me. And I won't force upon you my ways. But right now, sooner or later, it's not going to matter what we feel or what kind or gender we think we are. It's not going to matter what gender we're attracted to, because we'll be told how to live. We'll be told how it is. You do not get a choice. And for that, my friend, is not acceptable to me. And I'm sure it's not acceptable to you, because we deserve the freedom of choice, the freedom to choose who it is that we like, who it is we don't like, who it is that we are, and what we are. Like, so if you want to believe you're a turtle, be a turtle, because that's cool. That's you. That's what you think. That's completely fine. But the next thing is, though, is if we keep fighting over just the little stuff, the bigger things are going to be gone to where we can't fight over the little no more. It's a slowly moving train that is gaining momentum. And if we don't stop it, we won't ever be able to. And I understand some people are going to fight and argue over this. And I'm probably going to get bashed over this. But in all honesty, it's the truth. If you just stand back and look at it all. Just look back at it. Please point out the things to me that tell a different narrative to the story. Because the narrative that I'm seeing, the narrative that I've been living in for the past 30 some odd years, clearly point to the collapse of our government into a dictatorship. Either that or a different country owning and running it. And I don't want either or, because we've been a great nation. A nation that has led the way in this exact subject of freedom and justice for all. And yet here we are falling apart at it. Well, we're the oldest one going at it, so I guess it's something to say. Now, of course, I gotta put in a little statement right there, a little asterisk. I said we're the oldest, with the asterisk at the end of it, because some say the 5 nations, is it 5 or 6? I can't remember now. 5 or 6 nations of tribes are the actual oldest in this democracy, republic kind of structure here. Some say that's where the United States, got its structuring was from the nations. And it's actually been logged in 86, 85 maybe. It could have even been 84. I can't remember the exact year it was logged. But it's logged down where the Senate passed a thing declaring that the nations had a huge impact on the structuring and beginnings of our Declaration of Independence. That we relied on their information and took it and made ours. Now that's some pretty harsh stuff right there that you don't get taught nothing about. I never have heard of that in my life. You might not even know exactly what I'm talking about. And I wish I could pull it up right now, and I don't have the resources to do that, or I would. But it's about this. It's about these tribes. We call them tribes because it was the Indians, these communities, these different races. I don't know how they technically called themselves different, but these different sets of tribes that had this agreement with each other, and they structured up their own government of sorts. The thing that we didn't bring over, almost exactly to the T, almost everything that we got is structured in this sense of how they are. But the only thing that we did not bring over was how much power the women had within their government. Now, how strange is that? It sounds like, to me, something that would have been, of that time, something that they wouldn't have went with. And I just wonder if there isn't any experts out there that has studied this agreement. This, I think it's not a Declaration of Independence, but it's like a treaty of these 5, 6 nations. They was all in the United States, like around Canada, down towards New York, bring them on down towards West Virginia, on over and up, just round about here. And they all had their agreements on what they was going to do, what they was going to be, who they was going to be, and all of that. So I think we ought to take an expert in that field and maybe look at it a little bit closer. Maybe we need to bring in the women's section of this. I remember one of the hugest things that I remember from reading what I read of it was women had the right at the very top. So you had these 2 different chiefs. You had a war chief and you had a non-war chief. When war came, the war chief was gone to war. And the non-war one stayed back to do all the counselings and stuff there. And with that being said, that meant that the chief staying back, he had some pretty big responsibilities. But in the end, here's the kicker to it. No matter what, if the women didn't approve, if the woman, the chief woman, one of the head elder women didn't believe that he was there for good intentions, she could get him kicked out. That's right. Boot him out instantly. How powerful is that? That's pretty cool, ain't it? I don't know if it's the right way to go, but I'm just saying that's a possibility that we could go with. But these are things that first of all, that needs to be taught in the first place. And then in the second place, we need to not only be taught that in the schools, but it needs to be addressed that, hey, and give some credit where credit is due. Because I see why they don't want to teach it. I get it, okay? Our country was founded on nothing but murder and slaughter of innocent individuals. That this was their land, and we took it from them. And I say I didn't take it from them. Nobody that I've ever known in my entire life was around whenever it got took. So don't put the blame on me for it. But the Europeans came over here and took the land from them. And it's sad that it happened that way. And I hate that it happened the way that it did. And it sure wasn't right by any means. But that doesn't mean that we just write it off and say either we just don't acknowledge it, we don't accept it. I don't know what it is that everybody's trying to do with it, trying to erase it. And you erase it, you end up doing it all over again. The whole point of history is to learn. You learn from your mistakes, you learn from your victories, and you learn to either do better next time or how to get it done right from the get-go, and you don't have to waste so much time trying to figure your way through it. It doesn't seem that difficult. Just do it, you know? Don't erase it. Don't try to get rid of it. That's ridiculous, like I said. I don't know why people do that so much recently. It's like a cancel culture. They want to cancel everything. It's like the whole South and North thing. You know, I don't know a single person in my family, never knew a single person in my family that was around that time. Whether they fought for the North or they fought for the South, I don't know. Do I care? No, not really. I don't care whatsoever. It doesn't matter. It's never really mattered to me. It's been brought up in discussions before, and we've talked about it. But here's one thing that it correlates back to that subject slightly, is I do believe that the states need to bring back the power to themselves, and quit giving it away so easily and freely like they have been. It's uncalled for. It's unnecessary. It really is. And why they have just let it go so freely, I will never understand. And I think maybe it's just like everything else has been. It's been little stuff has been pointed out to them, and they start bickering and fighting over the little stuff. And these bigger issues, that's whenever they start making their moves. I don't know that's for sure, but that's just my guess. So these are the things that we have to talk about and discuss. And we need to grow and learn together. And we're never going to get there. Never going to get there if we can't get past the small stuff. Are you willing to get past the small stuff? I hope. I really do hope. If not, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for you not being able to get past that. It's pitiful. It's sad. And maybe someday you'll see. I don't know. I really don't know. It's definitely interesting enough to try to figure out how in the world we're going to make it. because